Welcome. A beautiful June evening here on the rooftop at the Wee Dram. Birds, the bees are landing and pollinating. We have the opportunity to investigate another beautiful whiskey, and to get prepared, I've been enjoying some Dave Broom. Tonight, with the Dalwhinnie, aged 15 years, in describing the Highlands and in describing Dalwhinnie's sort of where Dalwhinnie is situated. The Highland whiskies, it's a massive geographic area, and Dalwhinnie is situated right in the middle of that area. So the altitude, I think, is about 350 meters. You know, there are no other real things going on up here except for the distillery itself, which is really remarkable. It's a whiskey that sits among the other whiskeys in the classic malt series, some of which are my very favorite. 43% alcohol by volume, so having that 43% is always that little indicator that says, all right, you're dealing with something that people care about. Aged 15 years is remarkable, refreshing, encouraging, probably exactly the way whiskey should be. It's nice to think about something sitting and coming to fruition over that period of time. My father gravitated toward this particular bottle. So for me, it has an emotional connection that is sweet, and it's nice. You know, it's nice to think about these things, and this is another thing that whiskey does. I love the navy blue up here, and then etched with the gold coming all the way around to frame subtly and beautifully the entire box. From the highest distillery in Scotland, set in the windswept Grampian Mountains, with their unlimited supply of fresh spring water, comes this delightfully gentle, delicately smoky malt. I love it. I love it. I love the box. I love the packaging. Here it goes. I like that. Nice splash of white on the blue background. On the top of the bottle as it comes forth, and we'll hold the bottle up in the natural light of the evening. A touch of hay, a touch of dry gold honey color. It's quite beautiful. The gentle spirit. Now, the whiskeys that I like are not gentle. They don't start gentle, they don't finish gentle. There's very little that would be considered gentle. So the fact that Dalwhinnie wants to be the gentle spirit is really interesting. On the back, there's some numbers to get in touch with Diageo if you're interested. And you can always return the bottle for a refund. Ooh, I like this cork. I can tell it's good. Yes. It's like pulling a vault off. Oh. Oh. Honestly, that was a good cork. Wow. There's like a soft black licorice smell almost on the nose of like a waxy, honeyed black. That's really interesting. That's very different. Little touch of flower even in there. Gosh, if I'm getting all that from the cork, that's really remarkable. A very different nose indeed. A very, I smell sort of a honey wax going on up in there. I no longer have the licorice that I did initially when I had the cork. It has a light, I smell a bit of the oil, or an oiliness, but it's a very inviting fragrance. And definitely a waxy dryness that emanates and sits. Behind that you have the field, and you have the flowers within that field, sort of a humming and hanging behind the waxiness of the forefront of the nose. When you look at it hanging in the glass, it does hang up nicely. There is, you know, it has an oily character to it that's worthy of 15 years sitting in wood cask. Time to ignite some memory and reconnect with whiskey that I've had a number of times and enjoyed a number of times in my life, and yeah, looking forward to this very much. It hangs in a sort of woody forest way in the end. It starts exactly the same way it feels on the nose. It has a sweet, and the fruit starts to rush towards you a little bit right after You taste sort of honey, and it's not oily. It has a more dry kind of consistency to it, and it finishes. I can still taste it. I can still taste it. It finishes without a great deal of intensity, but a sort of a peppery feel on the lips and in the mouth. And I can feel it where I puckered a little bit just before I drank it. I can feel it still on my lips. It's really a spicy wood finish. All right, let's give her one more go because it is tasting really nice. Much more comfortable on the second time. Like you've been wearing your slippers, you know how it's gonna feel. People say lightly smoky. There's something in the finish that I wouldn't classify that way, that I would classify more like a living intensity in the finish, that it doesn't feel like it's whispering away and disappearing. It strikes a fine balance in the end. Well worth the time drinking. Having the wherewithal as a group of individuals to go up into a mountain pass, onto a plateau, into the moors, and to build a beautiful distillery and create beautiful whiskey simply for the sake of doing just that. Dalwhinnie is a remarkable whiskey and certainly worthy of discussion, certainly worthy of consideration, and in so many ways a mark of quality would be worthy on any bar. So to think carefully on Dalwhinnie in terms of the quality that it is and where it might rate, because in terms of how much I'm enjoying the whiskey, in terms of this experience is sort of meaningful and worthwhile, it's very difficult to argue against a 4. I think Dalwhinnie would serve perfectly as an entry point whiskey. It would serve, I mean, it's almost tailor-made for that purpose. It's not cheap. You're well over $100, so to earn your 4 at well over $100, you better be pretty special. It's difficult to give it a 4 again because it's outside of my palate. This wouldn't be the whiskey that I take to a deserted island. I would love to have a sip there before I got onto the whiskey that I really wanted to drink. I don't know. Do I have to decide? Can I just pass? I can? Wow. Cheers. Louis Dram. I'm giving it a 4. It's a 4. Either you're gonna talk me off this cliff, or you're gonna be like, okay, Gordy, I get it, you know. And I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I really can. I think it's gonna be really good.